here we are dealing with a lot of these issues. And while all of this is happening, you're getting into a week whereby the budget will be read and that you're going to be told, essentially, how the country is going to spend money. Part of that money is debt. We know that in the numbers, one of the sectors that gets easily the lion's share of these funds is education. Now, unfortunately, we are not able to see the end result of that kind of investment in this sector, whereby we're dealing with now 6 years. We used to, in 2025, we talked about 5 years of unpaid capitation balance. Now, we're talking about 6 years of unpaid capitation balance. For the first time in history, or maybe the history of 5 years, the first term capitation this year was paid before the term began. Well, that was a story because we got into second term and then now we're telling stories. But then we have an education sector that is really all belly up. Things are in the air. I mean, we have recommendations about what should be done in school. And now in the second term, as has always been the case, it's very clear that the second term has been the time where we see unrest. We don't see unrest in the first term. We don't see unrest in the third term. In the last 30 years, the unrest that has led to the fires that has killed children, that has now made commissions to sit and chairs to then, has been in the second term. It seems as though the indicators of these issues are very clear, but we don't want to deal with them. We then had a PS yesterday who then spoke with an essence of bravado, where he basically said, we'll shut all of you down if you bring this nonsense. We're not looking at the issue to solve the problem. We want to beat it down with a stick the way you beat a lizard. Why?
Because the PS does not know what he's doing in his job. I happened to have sat at the board of Nanyuki High School for 4 years. And when I was sitting in that board, I discovered where the problem is. The government wakes up and says 100% transition to high school without a commensurate investment in school infrastructure. So a school like Nanyuki that was supposed to have taken 350 Form 1s that year was given 495. So the principal had 145 boys extra. What do you do with them? Do you know the atrocious things that principals do? Because he has to keep his job. They partition the library. They put some children to sleep in the library. They partition dining halls. You should go to some of these national schools I don't want to mention.
It's happening
you
today.
You find places where children
the sanatorium.
are sleeping. Yes, under the stairs. Some have, and then the bathrooms are not enough, the toilets are not enough. And then there is a government lacking common sense building a stadium worth 100 billion. Let me tell people something, because sometimes they think I make noise for nothing. The president was celebrating Madaraka. I don't know what kind of Madaraka that is, in a stadium that was alleged to have cost 4 billion. And by the way, I think taxpayers 4 billion is very special, because when you look at that stadium, unatafuta 4 billion unakosa. But think about it this way. To build one classroom in this country costs 1 million shillings. Yeah. So when you have, a billion is 1,000 millions. I like explaining things to Kenyans in the easiest way. Yeah. 1 billion is 1,000 millions. So when you have 1 billion, you have 1,000 classrooms.
Yes.
When you have 4 billion, you have 4,000 classrooms. If you take 4,000 classrooms and spread them across the 47 counties, congestion is over in our schools. In fact, that is classrooms plus dormitories. It is enough. So what we wasted in one stadium in Wajir, and people in Wajir will come and say, I'm fighting development. I'm not. Think about it this way. What's the maximum number of times a stadium can be used in a year? Probably 2 times a week. 2 times a week times 56 times 53 weeks is what? 100 opportunities of that stadium being occupied, if it is lucky to have 100 visits.
Meanwhile, what you're saying is
if you had built classrooms
or dorms,
they would have been occupied by children throughout the year.
To the number of 85 per county.
Yes. So 85 each county.
Because if you took 4,000 classrooms or dorms and spread them around 47 counties, you essentially get 85 per county. You would have 85 if you took that, and this is 4 billion shillings. It's not 400 billion. It's not 40 billion. It's 4 billion, and that we're saying with that 44 billion, with that 4 billion shillings, if you applied it and said we are going to put up a structure where children can sleep spaced out properly, or we're going to add more classrooms so that people are not doing ridiculous things like sleeping in a sanatorium or under the stairs, you would have 85 new ones per county. And then I would have to ask the question: when is the last time you saw a school being built in the country? The last time.
So that's the kind of madness that we are dealing with. And I strongly to suggest to Kenyans, really, if if we are going to vote in 2027, and I believe we are going to vote, that KIMS kit for checking whether it is you who is voting, we adjust it a bit. It should have something for measuring common sense. So as you put your finger there, it measures whether your brain is up to standard to vote for us, a leader who has got common sense. So that if it measures and says you're a dimwit, we deny you an opportunity to vote because you're going to give us the wrong leaders.